So if you just hopping in, here is the business, and I'm gonna be talking about this hopefully throughout this broadcast. Just dropped that free kit on Beatstars. It's called BMX stunts. So I want to just show you a little bit of what I got. Shouts out to the homie MG the Future, because he kind of taught me how to do this sequencing formula. And it's not so much about what happens afterwards when you sequence. It's kind of about what happens before. So the way I used to do it is I used to build like a 4 to 8 bar loop. Really 8 bar loop, and just kind of like build it up, break it down style. But what happens with me is like I'll get bored of the beat or I get annoyed by it. So he kind of showed me how to do this, especially with loops, because I make loops. I did it with other people's loops, but I really did it so I could use my own loops. So I make my own loops, I give them away, I sell them or whatever, but now I'll come back and use them. And so what he did was he started showing you how you could use like halftime and stuff and different augmentations, kind of take that same piece and stretch it out into a song format. So what I did was I took that last loop and I kind of stretched it out into a song with a little bit of composition. So let me show you what I did. So here's the intro, which is just really just the original. Hey, Beatstars, what's good? So if you're just hopping in, here's the deal. This is what we got. First of all, I appreciate Beatstars for broadcasting and hosting me today, man. Hope everybody's being safe on lockdown while we social distancing. So I appreciate you joining me. So this is what I want to do. At first, if you saw the ad or you saw on my IG, what you probably saw was I was working on this Griselda beat yesterday, and I was gonna demo that for you, but just understanding the demographic and knowing what happens at BeatStars, what I wanted to do instead was I was working on a beat kit or a sound library. So, and if the sound's not okay, let me know. So what I did was I went ahead and dropped it last night. It's at the link that's in the chat. That first link, you can go grab that for free. It's 5 free loops, right? So I wanted to do what that was, kind of show you how I do this little technique I got from MG the Future. So I was kind of explaining that. What you see is one of the original 5 loops here that I've got as the intro. So here's what I did. I took the multi-track and split it. Now, if you don't have the multi-track of the loop, that's cool. You can always part the signal with a high-pass filter or a low-pass filter, depending on which part of the signal you want. So this is what I did. There's this part in the loop that was these strings. So originally, appreciate that, Mike. So originally, I had a high part on the A part and a low part on the B part. But I liked the way that just the high part sounded on the hook for that. So then what I did was I copied that same top line and I put a halftime on it. Sounds like this. And I did the same thing. I cut it in half and kept that A high part so it would be consistent. So the bass of the hook sounds like this when you add the 808. Second half of the hook. And so going into the verse, what I did was I took that B low part, and so for the A half of the verse, I just have that halftime, and then I bring the high part back in for the second half of the verse. And now this is going into the break, and right now you can see the break and the intro are the same thing at the moment. So I'm going to do a couple things here. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of this. Copy and paste that. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some filtering and possibly some half timing over here when you get to the bridge. So, or the pre-hook, I guess, depending on what you want to call it. So what I want to do right now is start working on this hook, right? And so I've already got this melody is separating it from the verse because a lot of it's the same. But now I want to start it on the percussion. Again, shouts out to the homie MG the Future for teaching me this technique. Just checking back in, Beatstars. Hey, appreciate y'all posting the free kit, Beatstars. So, just want to start working on this verse part. So I'm going to start with some open hats just to kind of make it move, right? And sometimes I place them, sometimes I play them. In this case, I may place them. Shouts out to the homie Mike Mixer. He's got 3 kits out. The latest one is called White Mike Drum Kit. I like his open hats. I like how that one kind of goes. Yep. So this is what I'm gonna do. Here's much conversation about loops and things like that. I do like efficiency. I do like creativity though. So you can have a little bit of both. I teach a lot of students at the University of Illinois and across the country in my individual sessions. So like one of the #1 challenges, especially for people who have been doing it a year or less, make sure everything kosher over here. Cool. For people who have been doing it a year or less, one of the big things I harp on is sound selection, right? And when I started, it was hard to get like free high quality sound. Now you got Cymatics, you got Slap Expert, Sick With It, just dropped a kit today. Just a number of people dropping really high quality kits and they're next to free, if not free. I would definitely recommend Cymatics. There's just something I'm able to just kind of pull up real quick, and then I'll go back later and put some sound design on it or, you know, edit it so it's mine. So they got a number of hat loops. Shouts out to them. That might work. Let's see how that sounds. Let's see here. Time stretch it. If you don't know on Reason, you can time stretch by selecting option, holding down option, and right clicking. So just to be quick with it, you know, I would normally go back and do some stuff with that, but just to be quick with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do too much mixing, but one thing I definitely like to do to give it some texture and some movement is to do that quick auto pan on the hat. Some of y'all know this, some of y'all may not. It's all good. One thing I love about making beats is it's just a wealth of information. Things change every day, and it's always something you may or may not know. So again, shouts out to the homie MG the Future, because he's the one that taught me how to do a lot of this stuff as far as the sequencing. You can hear the difference when it stops doing that too, and just slightly too. You can see when I roll it on my mixer. It's kind of just close to the middle. Now we got our hook moving. So I want to point out a little trick. A lot of y'all probably know this, but it is what it is, right? Kind of want your verse hats to be about half the speed of your hook hats, kind of give it that differentiation. Now this isn't going to be a one-to-one because I'm going to have to go edit that later, but I just want to have that there so when we switch over. So boom. So another thing I do for simplicity and quickness sake, when I started watching the homies that were using FL and I'm using Reason, I got to ask myself, how can I do what they do in FL but in Reason? Because that's me. So one thing I picked up on quick was how they just dropping sounds in and making them patterns real quick. So I'm like, all right, bet I could do that. And that's one of the reasons I started picking up these kits. Let me see how we doing. I always get weird when. Hey, good morning. Sparta in New Jersey. Hey, what's good? Was good. Appreciate y'all jumping in the chat. Hopefully what I'm doing is helpful. So I want to pop over this Cymatics kit again because they had a lot of quick kicks that I like. Yeah, I like. And so what I'll do is what that just did was spread that kick across the keys, right? So I'm just going to copy the 808 pattern for now, and I'll go back and edit just to give it some spice. gave it some quick punch, but obviously there's going to be some mixing I'm going to need to do and probably some editing. But that's just, in a nutshell, how you work quick, right? So now this is our hook. So we need a snare. One of the snares I've been rocking with is some shot snares. I think I have latency, so what I might do is place this snare in there because I don't want to try and play it and then it'd be all jank. So let's do this. There we go. Hey, that sounds pretty good, Cymatics, man. Appreciate y'all. So we're gonna do that as like the main snare, John. So we need that off snare. We need that off snare too. And so here's one thing I do want to show too. Now look how differentiated we are between our verse and our hook. It was essentially a lot of parts of the melody were the same thing. Let me check back in the chat here. Hey, appreciate y'all joining me, man. Listen, anybody watching me, I consider it valuable. Ain't nobody got to give their time or attention to me. So thank you for watching. Thank you for checking it out. All right, there we go. So now we got to get our off snare. Oh, little sauce. I need to do the reverse effect. So I usually like to throw this thing in there to lead in. So shouts out to, let me see. This was called the Blackest Night kit. And I always want to make sure I give credit where credit is due. Okay, not sure who made the Blackest Night kit, but I will Google that. But the riser right before you put in your snare, it's one of my favorite things because it's an easy sauce. It's easy sauce. So it's like this little riser thing. It makes you feel like you leading into the snare. You know what I'm saying? That's really why I like it. Make sure I get that. And no, maybe not on every one. Maybe on every other. So, all right. So now let's get that off snare in there, which is going to be weird because of the latency. But we're going to figure it out. We're going to get it figured out today. Let's see. They had some snares I like too. It's too long. Maybe I'll shorten it. Let's see how that sounds. I've been making beats for 12 years. I've played it. I've placed it. MIDI, wave, everything. Let's see how this sounds. You know that off pattern. Again, I would probably play this normally. There we go, that'll work. And so for the purposes of this, we'll keep it simple like that. We'll keep it simple just like that. Watching, that's basically the hook right there. We got that done. We got the hook in 18 minutes. And so I want to look at the verse. Let's see where we at right here. Appreciate y'all jumping in here. Appreciate Beatstars going live. Hey, here's what I'm going to tell you I appreciate it. I learned by doing. And I ain't really had a reason to go live because I ain't think nobody cared to watch your boy make beats. If somebody cares, I truly appreciate that, man. But this forced me to learn how to really get my live stream situation together more than just turning your phone on, man. If there's anything I want to remind you to do during this down period, I'm going to tell you what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks. I have my own business. I work a part-time job. I work for University of Illinois. In my own business, I sell my merchandise, I sell my skill set, I have one-on-one client consultations, stuff like that. All I've been doing for the last 3 weeks is investing in myself, either buying a new VST, learning a new skill, just something, man. I learned insert effects last week, which I never used because I wasn't doing vocals. Now I'm doing vocals. Got a new got a new mic, got a new chaotica, but just it's all about self improvement. All those things as a producer that I should have been done known, I'm just tightening up this week. So, all right, so back to the beat. So this is the hook. So now let's get to the verse. So remember earlier when I stretched out the hi-hats, now do you see why I did that? So now we already got our verse hat set, right? So this is how I'm gonna do the percussion. I'm just going, now listen, this is just for the sake of being quick and seeing a quick little process. Always remember you need to come back in here and, edit and just make sure things just have different variations, things like that. Like for example, I'm only gonna do every other on the little pre-snare effect. You know what I mean? Just little stuff like that. So it's not just exactly the same as far as the percussion. There's a lot more stuff I would do, but again, demonstration purposes. This not even including like sound effects, perks, different stuff like that. So when you start seeing me editing the ends of the bars, that's me trying to create transition work, right? Like I might take this off just to give it a little feel. Just little stuff like that. That was the 808. But just little stuff like that makes you feel like you rounding off the verses before you even put your effects in, right? I gotta do my famous inverted drop. I always do this halfway through my verses where I take out the kick and the 808 on the one, and it gives it like this just certain kind of feel. And I'll keep the hats when I do it. So let's try it. I like that. And then when you have that effect, that pre-snare effect, when you pull that kick out and the one that gives it room to be like, it just gives a certain, like, listen to it. It's like you leading more into the drop in the next kick. So that's pretty much the verse. I would do some transition effects in the middle and the end and probably something at the beginning. But the last thing I want to look at before we get up out of here is the pre-hook. Doing good pre-hooks really kind of changed my life because it's the best thing when somebody says, oh, your beat sounds the same, right? Well, what I used to do in that pre-hook section was I would just remix the verse, and this is still remixing the verse, but it's giving it a little more depth. So when I go back to, remember the intro right now and the pre-hook are the same. I'm gonna put some effects on this pre-hook version of it. First thing I'm gonna put on, shouts out to Jules Jaden for that saucy filter. It's like if you don't have FL and you're not using that love filter, this is really the next best thing, if not just as good, in my opinion. So let's see how it sounds. I want to get to a signal that's going to work for me, because you got to kind of, it's not like, So what I did was I cut off a lot of the high end, kept some of the low end, and then this is the effect you have going into the pre-hook. And that's better than this, which is more suited for the intro. So then what I might do is compose like a natural bass line. I don't want to waste y'all time. Let me see. I'll see what comes up, because I don't want to waste y'all time composing that. Matter of fact, I'm not going to waste your time because I'm going to keep this short. So what you would want to do right here is compose like a natural bass line or like a synth bass, and maybe put some put a low end filter on it. So what you were trying to do is enhance that low end and really bring out that underwater feeling. If that makes sense, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna grab an old beat and I'm gonna pull out the effects and transitions package and show y'all how that goes too, so y'all can have an idea. Stay organized. Like, I reorganized like a year ago, and it's time to reorganize all my files. Hey, shouts out to Lil Boots, man. 12-year-old producer, you're gonna be 13, man. I've done a couple collabs with him here in Atlanta, man. Me and him did a collab. I'm gonna pull the effects package off of this, so y'all can kind of see how that goes. I didn't want this to go past 30 minutes. Just having experience, people start to lose interest after a while. So this will be the last thing I do. We're gonna wrap it up at 11:30. Once again, man, I appreciate Beatstars for hosting my channel. I'm just getting started on this Twitch thing. I've been making beats for like 12 years, but I'm relatively new to sharing with the world. You know what I mean? Just like y'all, I'm self-conscious. You know, I'm worried about how things are going to look and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I may be hesitant to try some stuff. Do I have an effects package? Okay. Here's what I forgot in the other one. A symbol at the top of my one. Got a little riser effects here. I'll throw in a little perk effects, rise effects, and this effect. So we'll just copy that. We're going to paste that in there so you can have an idea of how these effects, and there's like even more perks in there too. You know, typically I might spend 2 or 3 hours. I know some of y'all with the 10-minute cookup and all that, I don't like that. I'm not gonna say I don't like it. I'm not hating on people that do it, but for me to sound my best, I take a little time. So what I did was, you see, I added effects at the beginning, coming right at the start of the song, and then leading into the drop. And actually that drop was a little quicker. So is my intro too long? Oh, I did the extra long intro. That's what it was. So let's do this. Let's shorten the intro here and then see how this works. I want you to hear the second half of the pre-hook coming into the verse, or the hook. Here we go. So by no means is that a finished product, but the purpose of what I wanted to do today was just kind of give you a feel for the framework, you know what I mean? And then, you know, what you do with that framework after that, that's what makes your beat uniquely yours, right? Those are just some easy, quick techniques you could do. The micro editing, the transitions, the drops, all that stuff is what makes your beat you and not like somebody else's. So, hey man, that's my time. Please make sure you jump in the chat. You grab that free BMX Stunts kit. Here's what it looks like. That BMX Stunts sound library is 5 free loops. It's on Beatstars right now. Grab that link in the chat. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. Did I say that it's free? I love free stuff too. I know y'all do. So anyway, thank you to Beatstars. That was my first real Twitch feed. If you're rocking with it, please let me know. Saturday, I'm going to be live broadcasting with BZWorks Beats on YouTube at 6 p.m. I'll have a flyer for that out probably by later tomorrow. I think that what I might do on Twitch Saturday is go live and do another beat and get more in depth into stuff. I'm still new to this, and I'm still not convinced that people want to watch me do this. So I'm going to feel it out before I continue to just be like hopping on. But I think I'm gonna hop on Saturday and do a beat, man. Appreciate y'all. TheLetterLBeats.com, at TheLetterLBeats on Instagram. Again, free kit, free kit, free kit. Thank y'all for tuning in. Bufo on the beat. Appreciate you, Beatstars. The Suicide Tuesday. Thank you. Audio Fever Studio. Thank you, man. Appreciate y'all, man. We out.